Ready? 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 Here we go. Here we go. Oh shit! God damn it! No! Oh! That's my shit right there! And that's the ticket! And give me the ticket! That's what I want is tickets! Let's go! It's so good! Here we go! Here we go!
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to You Deserve a Drink. Before I get into this week's episode and start us off with the weekly quote, I just have some light housekeeping. Last week, you probably noticed that I was conspicuously absent from the global chat on the date that I had promised I'd show up for a meetup. That's totally my bad. Unfortunately, I'd scheduled a random time when I was speaking, and it ended up coinciding with the busiest part of my week last week. So 1,000 apologies there. I'll definitely do that this week. I'll wait until the middle part of the week to make a specific post announcing that. So it'll be a better time for me and hopefully a better time for all of you. So look out for that. So with that out of the way, let's get into this week's weekly quote. And this week's weekly quote comes from Danny Meyer's book entitled Setting the Table. And it goes like this. I always want any new restaurant I open to become a lunch haunt for some core group of loyal customers. To the degree that a restaurant can serve as an unofficial club for any constituency, it takes on an additional mystique that leads to more and more business. Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise, but that quote carries heavy significance for me in terms of Scent. As you all probably know, Scent started off as this very generalized crypto quora, but as of late, it's really started to turn into a gathering place for a lot of crypto artists, but also a lot of other very creative individuals and users. And we're still at the very, very early days of Scent. There's still so much more that we can do to make this a real gathering place for all of these creative types and crypto artists. I think one of the areas that we're specifically going to be spearheading very soon is this idea of a certified creator designation. And there's going to be some sort of very specific benefits that this certified creator designation will hold for the individuals that receive this designation. So I think this is one of the things that's lacking on Scent, but then really any of the other crypto-based networks or marketplaces out there. So stay tuned for that. The only other thing I really wanted to announce today are my upcoming Scent Spotlight podcasts that I have planned. The Spotlight has, until now, just been something that's been a transcription of dialogues I've had with other Scent users. But beginning this week, I'm going to record not one, but two podcasts. The first one will be with much loved video blogger, Reme Dude, who's making a return to the Scent platform. And I'm super glad that one of his first interactions will be with me on the Scent Spotlight. So look out for that dropping sometime later in the week. Also, I'm going to be speaking again with the professional seeder himself, Brizzle, and he's actually going to be reverse spotlighting me. So I know he's been crowdsourcing a lot of questions from the sentient community about what questions he's going to ask me. So if you're curious about anything about me, it doesn't matter what it is. Nothing could be too specific or personal. I'm very open about everything if I'm asked. So just leave those questions with Rizzle and he'll do the work for you. Okay, well, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about this week. I'm really looking forward to turning the Spotlight into a podcast because as much as I really like to do these weekly soliloquies, I really am more at home in having conversations with other people. And I find that to be much more interesting personally. Hopefully that's the case with all of you too. So with that, I'm going to wrap this episode up. Have a great week, everybody, and Scent on.